Hip Hop Humboldt.
What's good, y'all? Welcome once again to the Hip Hop Humboldt podcast. It's your boy Dave, and let me tell you what, we got a special one today. We have back on the Hip Hop Humboldt podcast, Amari J. What's going on, Amari J?
What's going on, my brother, man? Salute to you, man. Shout out to Humboldt County, man. You already know what time it is, man. Grateful to be back on this podcast, sir.
Hey, absolutely. It's a blessing to have you back on, man. And I've been keeping my eye on some of the things you've been doing since you was last on the podcast. And so we're gonna talk about that. I think we got some some really timely information that you're gonna talk about. And past that, anything else you want to get into, we'll do it. You know what I mean? This is your, second. It's a little bit of a checkup, episode to see how you doing. But then, like I said, you got some news that you want to drop that the people need to know. So that's one of the most important things for this one. We're gonna talk about that. So yeah, how have you been since the last time we did this?
Man, I've been cool, man. Just trying to elevate, stay consistent, stay motivated, stay positive, and just keep doing what we do, man, and get further and further in life, man. How about you, my brother?
I've been good, man. Things have been really good for me, just holding it down with the family, holding it down, with work and the pod and we do the radio show. You was on the radio show too a couple months ago, We
That
do
was
it
great.
all up here. We holding it down. This is the hip hop hub up here in Humboldt County. And so, I'm just keeping it moving like I always do, man. But it's good to talk to you again. And so, um, I wanted to first see if you're willing to talk to us about the Voice of the Youth Project because I see y'all doing some big things down there and it's important work. I said that the last time and I mean it. It's really important work that you and your team are doing. And so let us know, a little bit about the project.
Salute, man. I appreciate that, man. And so it's a lot going on right now. Crazy thing was, it's just crazy because it's like we don't want anything to happen, but when things do happen, we have to step in and lend that support and intervene the best way that we know how to, because that's just what's in our heart. So it's been a lot going on. It was a lot not going on for a while, but the last few weeks just been kind of crazy, man. So one of my former students from Dublin passed away, Pranav Benoit. So shout out to him
Rest in
for sure. Yep, he was a great kid, great dude, great future was ahead of him, but unfortunately, he passed away. I won't speak too much into that out of respect to the family, but we definitely lended some support when it came to the GoFundMe page when it came to his burial. So I just hope that all family and friends are okay and everybody can be and move on
Most
from
definitely.
that
Thank you for that.
situation. Yeah,
Families need help when when you lose a child, man, that's got to be one of the hardest things. You losing your parent, I mean, if it's their time, that's the natural way of life. But losing a child, nobody should ever have to feel that pain, man. So thank you for being there for the family.
yeah, no, man. I had to do it. Voice of the Youth Project now it's taken off to the point where sometimes the kids they'll tap in with me and tell me certain things that's going on the cover and stuff like that. And this one was brought to me because I actually didn't know about it happening at first, but we definitely amplified it and everybody sent their love. So it was good to see that. R.I.P. to Pranav. Every interaction I had with him was great. Good kid. Like I said, unfortunate. Then in other news, I guess a girl from Santa Rosa went missing not too long ago, but Joyce Albino, but she actually returned today, so
Oh, man,
or yesterday. So yeah,
that's
yeah,
great to hear.
yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I gotta always, if we're gonna talk about the bad, then we gotta talk about the good too, right? So um yeah, that was great. And yesterday when we were gonna do this podcast or planning to do it, um before she was found, she would have still been missing. So it's good that we kind of waited, and now we got some good news for her.
Right. Right.
Then another case that was amplified a lot and blown up a lot in the media was the Marissa D. Napoli case in what is it, Morgan Hill,
Mm-hmm.
San Jose. Um, Condolences to her as well, her family. I reached out to the mother and condolences to what they're going through. And go ahead on the Voice of the Youth Project Instagram and check out some new events that they're having for her and stuff like that. Go ahead and get a sweater. She got sweaters being made, hoodies with her face on it, and they're actually pretty cool. And they're pink colors, so yeah, go get them. Then another situation happened as well. A San Leandro High School cheerleader, unfortunately, Rihanna, they call her Riri, seemed like a great student, was a part of the social justice movement and stuff like that. And she went to San Leandro High School, and she unfortunately died from cancer. So I stumbled across that, and I definitely wanted to show love on that,
Absolutely. No,
16, I think.
that's young.
Yeah, so
That's crazy.
yeah, I've had a few family members make it from cancer and a few not make it. So but they were older in life. It's crazy to see somebody that hasn't even reached 21 years old. It's very unfortunate. But condolences to her family as well. And go ahead and donate on the GoFundMe. It's in the Voice of the Youth Project bio. And there will be more events coming, and I've posted that as well for her too. Um, and shout out to her mom. I did have a brief conversation with her mom, connected. Seems like a great lady. And yeah, then I guess she liked the idea of the sweaters too. So I think she's working on getting Rihanna some sweaters made as well. So I basically put both the moms together and just said, hey, hopefully you guys can, lean on each other, but kind of, give her the game on how to make the sweaters as well. So, we just trying to bring people together, man. And the biggest news, though, which is the ongoing news that is still ongoing, unsolved, is the Katie Home case right now, situation. Missing girl, 16 years old,
Mm.
went to Irvington High School, Fremont, California. Um, it's been a crazy ride, and I just hope she comes home. And, I'm praying for the family and praying for the friends and just the whole community.
Absolutely. No, that's heartbreaking, man. It's crazy nowadays that people, even, in 2025, people can still get snatched up with all this. Everybody's, got a phone or whatever it is and everything, but there's still some people out there that are, the bad-minded people that are snatching people up. If you said she got kidnapped,
So basically, from what the police have released, I'm gonna go off of what they have released to us so far, is that she met with some individuals online. She left a note behind, um, and the park was less than a mile from my house. Um, I did some field work and just went over to the area on foot, drove around, and just if I was, Katie, where would I be walking and stuff like that. And I seen a lot of things. It was a lot of video footage that definitely could have definitely spotted her. I think more video footage that is being, that than we're seeing on the internet, of course. But I understand the police and whoever else is involved, law enforcement wise, they have to do an investigation, and they have to keep certain things private from the public. I do understand that, but yeah, at this point, we're still looking forward. We're putting up flyers everywhere, all through the Bay Area, and we're just trying to, you know just pray that she makes it home safe, man, and comes home soon. She has a lot of love, a lot of support, and if nobody told her that, that's a definite, regardless of what she might be going through at home, because she did supposedly voluntarily leave. If we look at the pictures and the photos, she had a big red backpack on, and she was carrying what looked like to be a desktop
mm,
computer. which is even more suspicious. And then, her phone last pinged at the park. So it's a lot of variables to this.
Right, right. Right. I can't, I definitely don't want to speculate, on any specific, case or anything like that. But I've just, from what I've seen and known nowadays, a lot of these, the typical scammer minded people, like I said, it might not be this situation, but in general, it does happen to kids. Like kids get caught up with scammers or traffickers or, just people that do not have their best interests in mind. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
and it can be real scary for a child, for a young person to have to deal with these concepts that even adults shouldn't have to deal with, but an unfortunate part of life where people they'll instill fear in people, and then once you have a person afraid, once somebody's afraid, they're more likely to do what you want them to do. You know what I mean? And bad-minded people are doing this to kids being our most vulnerable. You know.
Right.
So it's horrible, man. I really hope that she's found. I swear I hope that she's found ASAP. And I applaud you and I'm thankful for you for helping the community and raising awareness for her.
Yes, no problem, man. It's in my heart. I don't want to see no kids go missing. I don't want to see any kids lose their life. I don't want to see any kids go through anything that's a negative situation. If I could be there to lend some support or some help, that's what I'm gonna do. And I don't need anything for it. It's just in my heart, and that's what we're doing. So we're collaborating with the family on certain things as far as amplifying it. I got a couple teams I'm working on that's gonna get together and pass out some more flyers. The community already has scheduled one event that they already have done, and they went out and put out a lot of flyers and stuff like that, which was great as well. Um, Also, what was interesting in the case, Fremont. So the area of Fremont is in, it's like by Auto Mall Parkway exit. So I've been over there a lot. I've actually gone to eat in that area a lot. And I do remember it was a lot of like homeless encampments over there, and it was a weird situation that happened to me. Like this weird lady just rolled up on me, man. Big old GMC truck, blacked out windows,
Oh,
looking like a witch, looking like she was on drugs, yelling all out the window, and somebody else was driving the car, and they were just chasing me. It was just weird and just random, and that raised a lot of eyebrows for me when I seen that. You know, it's kind of a similar area to where Katie was at. Like it's not very close, but it's still in that same kind of proximity. So that made me definitely even look into it more because I'm like, that just doesn't sound right. But like I said, it looks like she had a desktop computer on her. She was into gaming from what we heard. I don't really know. Then the note, like I said, I'm not sure, what else to think about all that, but it's a lot going on, man.
right, right. That's so unfortunate, man. I swear I hope she's found and is able to get back home to her family. You know what I mean? Because it's just heartbreaking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And especially when you say you go down like near there and it's already that kind of like element around, just even willing to, harass and, like they did with you, you know what I mean? And you're a grown man. And so it's just like, I mean, when they see a vulnerable girl, I mean, that's like, that's low hanging fruit to an extent, right? You know what I'm saying? And so that's just horrible to hear, man. And thank you for bringing this up and for letting us know about what's going on because
Yeah,
it sounds to me like the Voice of the Youth Project is doing way more than people are thinking it's doing. Like you guys are doing important work for the community.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And also, I want to say, like, we don't know what happened, whether she left this note indicating certain things or what, we don't know what happened. So everything is just pretty much a speculation at this point. But I do believe the police have way more evidence than they're releasing. And like I said, when I walked over to the area and looked at all the houses and stuff, I mean, it was clear cameras on all of them facing the street. So she definitely was caught on camera. She went through the gas station, supposedly. It's two cameras facing both ways of that gas station where she would have walked to. So, hopefully they find something soon in their investigation if they haven't already. almost close to cracking the case. Hopefully. So
Absolutely.
I'm not sure, where they're at, but I just pray for her to have a safe return, because that's crazy.
Yep. Absolutely.
But in the note, she indicated that she felt like a disappointment, things of that nature, and she was going to meet up with some individuals or individual that she met online. Is That's the story that the media has put out from the police. So I don't know what happened, but that's all we got to go off.
Mm, absolutely. Yeah. And that's, the if that's what they're letting out, you know what I mean, then that's the information that's probably like that they feel is most palatable. But that sounds like that's like the tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg goes, under the water quite a ways in terms of who, because who is that person that, if this is a 16-year-old girl, and who is that person that she thinks that she's safer with compared to her family? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
and everything like that. And the fact that it sounded like if she's got a desktop computer that she's walking around with, that she was like thinking that she was going to be okay to fully, that whoever that person is, or whoever did this on the potentially nefarious side,
Right.
made her feel comfortable enough to think that she's just going to be, and that's how they do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm only speculating because I don't, but I'm just saying I'm looking at it from a bit of a like a unfortunately like a devil's advocate position where I'm like, okay, well, what if this is nefarious?
Right. I mean, they could have had her bring it to destroy it. I don't know, right? Maybe that's where all the conversations were at. Maybe it wasn't on the phone. I don't know, right? Like I said, we can just speculate and say maybe this is what happened. That's what happened. There's so many variables to this, and it's a lot I can say that I will not say out of respect for the family that I do know that would be more information. We could speak about it off camera, of course, but out of respect to the family.
Right, right. No, people's privacy is important nowadays, and that's, it's just heartbreaking to hear that. And I hope she makes it back home safely, man, because as a parent myself, like if my daughter, if that happened to my daughter, man, I mean, that's life changing.
That's
That's,
what I'm saying.
you
That's
know,
what I'm saying. And just know, if this happened to anybody's daughter that I know, I'll be doing the same thing. If this happened to your daughter, I'll be doing the same thing, brother. I would be trying to raise awareness and get this out to as many people as we can, because it's just very important. And the Voice of the Youth Project, we cover a whole bunch of things. I mean, it started really with school violence, and it projected into so many other things, but I've wanted to get into all these other industries. So it's like when you really break it down, it's like part of this is journalism. You have to know how to do journalism as well. So you don't have to be a great journalist, but you have to know the rules of journalism, right? As far as putting out stories, you don't want to be that station that's putting out false news and get called out for it. And you're not ABC and you're not CNN and have all this backing behind you where you could just make that story go away, right? So it's certain things like that that you have to do. Private investigator work, like I said, PI. I will be actually working on getting a PI license real soon. Looking into that, just because a lot of this is investigations as well. Just everything that's happening to everybody that I'm speaking on as a whole with the Voice of the Youth Project. Any story that we take and amplify, it's always an investigation that needs to be launched into.
absolutely, absolutely. And the unfortunate side of it is, California, especially, you look at this specifically because you're in the Bay, generally, around the Bay and everything, there's a lot of people. And so I feel like, there's always going to be some families that are going to need some support, like what you're talking about providing, you know.
Right. Correct. I believe the same thing, and that's why I stepped up. Taking the blueprint from Nipsey Hussle of what he did with his community. Like I said, me and Nip, I had big dreams of working with him. Met his brother Black Sam. It seemed like we were on to something, and unfortunately, we lost him. But part of that is why I do this Voice of the Youth project as well. So we're gonna keep that going and keep community alive. And I just want to say too, shout out to everybody that is supporting the Katie Home case and situation. I mean, I've seen the whole community pouring out. I've seen nothing but love. I mean, they love this girl and they want her home, and she deserves to be home safe. And I just hope that she is safe wherever she is at, and she comes back soon because today is, I believe, day 8. So
Mm,
that's a while, but still got hope, of course.
absolutely. No, absolutely.
But shout out to Irvington High School, the cheer team. Um, They supported a lot, Irvington High School as a whole. Shout out to them. Fremont, California. Shout out to Washington High School and the cheer team. They collaborated with us as well. Shout out to James Logan High School in Union City. They collaborated with us as well. So I just kind of made sure that we covered every pocket of Fremont and kind of in that same area. Union City's near that area too. So people in Hayward will see this. People in Oakland may see this because everybody's posting this. I mean, this is a good movement right now, and it's getting a lot of awareness and a lot of traction. So a lot of people are definitely seeing it. Shout out to Tino Cheer, Cupertino. What other companies have supported us? Also, Cards for Cause. Shout out to them because they actually do cards for veterans and seniors. And they reached out and said if there's anything that we could do to help. And I was like, you know what? And that's Amador Valley High School. Shout out to them. Pleasanton. Shout out to Dublin High School again. But they basically are going to help us. We've already put out the movement on Instagram, Cards for Katie, and we're going to get a whole bunch of cards for her and her family and people like that, just to write good things about her and memories they might have of her, and just come home, whatever they want to say, how much they miss her, whatever it is. And we'll be sending that to the family and showcasing that for everyone to see as well. So definitely shout out to them. um Shout out to Humboldt Podcast as well, Hip Hop Humboldt Podcast, you guys, for doing this interview. Anyone that's amplifying this story, I want to thank you. I really do. And the family definitely does appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you saying that, brother. I'm just, glad to be able to help support the work that you're doing, man, because that's crucial. You know what I mean? There's not enough. I feel like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, the police need more money, but there's certain parts of what the police do. They do so many different sides of handling things, handling issues and crises in the community, where it's like they should have more money for like mental health, people having mental health episodes,
Right.
and they should have more money for missing persons and especially missing
Yeah.
children like that. Like sometimes you'll see, just in things that have happened in my life that I've seen on the news and stuff like that, when somebody goes, like if a hiker goes missing and it's like a child or even a person, like it'll be like a manhunt and they'll send out like 40 people for like
Yeah.
2 days. And then it's like after a certain amount of time, they're like, okay, well, we couldn't find him or whatever it is. But it should be like that for like anytime, like, you know what I mean? Like this situation with Miss
Right.
Young, you know what I mean? It should be like there should be 40 hands on deck, you
It
know,
should.
and and
Right.
so we just need more people like you, leading these kinds of efforts. And so that's really commendable work you're doing, man. This Voice of the Youth project. I feel
Thank
like from the last podcast, I think maybe, and I'm not going to speculate on what people thought of, like what their feelings or thoughts were on it, but I'm saying I think maybe like people might have thought, okay, like Voice of the Youth project is like helping young kids, which they are in terms of like, getting them resources and stuff like that. But this specific stuff you've been talking about during this episode, this is a whole nother side of it that people need to know
you.
about
Exactly.
because it's crucial.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's a lot that I still don't even talk about that I do. But it's about awareness, and we're in the time of social media. It's 2025. It's all about cell phones and things of that nature. So we have to be on there and we have to get these stories out. But if it was really up to me, like I wouldn't say nothing about nothing that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But um, by amplifying it, it gets it to where it needs to go. So I have to stand on that.
Absolutely. No, it's crucial. And
And
I'm
shout out to the whole. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I'm glad that you're hitting multiple, whether it's outlets or there's multiple ways that all this information is being disseminated to the communities, because that's how it should be. That's how it should work. There should be infrastructure for that. They have, I don't know if it's the Amber Alert. That's like the one for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
everything like that, but they gotta like expand that. That's got to be a little bit more expansive because right now it's just like, okay, you get a alert to your phone, but I feel like nowadays, like it's somebody sees an alert like that and you're like, well, like that's not me, so I'm just gonna turn on. Like
Exactly.
there should be more infrastructure there that's like, okay, like this person is missing, you know what I mean, like,
Right.
or and it's kind of like being disseminated to the proper people like in certain areas rather than just like blanketing it out and everybody, because when everybody gets it, it's like, okay, that's gonna be helpful, but if targeted people in like a specific city or a specific area were getting that information, or even like a mile, so many miles radius of like, she could have only gone this far at this point. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, send it out to those people. Like, it's got to be more targeted. There's got to be more infrastructure with it. And that's something that it's interesting because, I'm up here in Humboldt County. And so Humboldt County is one of the counties that's the murdered and missing indigenous women and indigenous peoples, like center, capital
I've
of.
seen. Yeah, I've actually read up on you guys as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of that happens up here, and what some people in the indigenous community have been moving towards is an expanded alerting system. It's like, more
Mhm.
infrastructure that actually operates because up here it's rural. And so there's a lot of people that, you know what I mean, they're out rural and they're not, getting the infrastructure is not even there. Like some of those cats like can't even like the 911 system is not even like fully, viable and operational in certain rural areas and everything like that. And that can't be, man. Like it's, when it comes to emergency, especially when a child's, been kidnapped or goes missing.
hmm
Like,
my brother on the team, my good friend on the team. We were just actually talking about this yesterday. How Humboldt is pretty much, I would say, I guess that's the biggest county in California with the most missing people. And just thinking about it, like they don't really have too much resources. There's so much land over there and places that people can go. I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad over there for that, and I know the police definitely do need way more support when it comes to that over there, and it's a very high rate of missing people over there, and I hope they all can get home. That's very unfortunate, but also I do want to say about Humboldt, it's so many missing people that like every year, new ones that obviously they're not even putting out all this in the media. They're not.
mm, yep.
I've noticed that.
You're right.
It's too many cases.
Hmm.
There's too many cases. So one thing I want to say, with any case or any situation, it does matter how much the community is gonna step behind it and get involved. You know what I'm saying? Fremont, I gotta tip my hat off to Fremont. They did an amazing job. They stepped up and they got involved. I've seen other communities do the same thing, but I just want to say, like, it was amazing to me to see that. And all of these schools and we all collaborated together, and it's been great. So it's been great. And like I said, bring Katie home. That's all I'm hoping. That's all I'm praying.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be praying for her too, man. That's heartbreaking, and I'm really glad to hear that Fremont has, you know, um, come together and
Mm,
people in Fremont. And it sounds like hopefully, maybe even like I think you were talking about, like even some businesses, maybe even some churches and things, like just all putting that effort in towards like, hey, this is because, hey, we're all humans down here. Like, you know what I mean? And we create the social fabric. And you can't have somebody just pull a thread out of it and think that you're going to be okay. You know what I mean?
right.
Like we all
Mhm.
got to work together for some of these situations, especially for our kids. I was just literally, I'm not going to go too far left with anything because the focus of this is on the kids. But, I was just telling some of my friends in the last few weeks, a lot of what has kind of trickled down from whether it's even, you know what I mean, Donald Trump, or just because that's just one cog in the machine, right? Donald Trump. It's just like that's what the machine machine has been doing for years and years and years now is creating worse situations for children, our most vulnerable, and that's horrible. Like that's a horrible thing that's happening in society that we've got to really put, if we can do anything, we got to make sure that we're protecting our kids.
That's a definite. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And like I said, back to the community when I did go over there the other day to the last place her phone was pinged at, like it was about 4, 5, 6 families looking for something. They all walking around looking for something. So it's like, I respect that, man. And we're just gonna keep doing everything that we can to support. And it's very unfortunate, all of these situations that we've talked about, but at the end of the day, these people's story need to be heard, man. And that's how I look at it. And that's why I put it out like I do.
Absolutely. No,
Mm.
thank you, Amari J. That's like I keep saying, man, that's unbelievably crucial work, and I don't know, I don't have an eye on, everything down there to know, but it seems like you're leading the, you're leading the front in terms
I'll
of.
say this. Let me say this to give the free my police some respect. When I'm coming in the neighborhood, the last time I came in, the last 2 times I came in, they were coming out. So, you know, they're trying to do what they can as well. Um, but she could be somewhere far. She could be right under our noses and we don't know it. So it's like I said, the law enforcement, they know more. Um, but still, you never know when she may come home or whatever the case is.
Right, right. Right. No, and Katie too, just in case Katie's seeing this or anything else that's going on, and that's been put out down there in the Bay Area for her, Katie, like your family loves you, and we all want to see you get back home to your family and be safe.
We do. And more than just your family, Katie, you got all these people that love you. You got your cheerleading squad that love you. You got all these people from the school that love you, all these friends that love you, and all this support. Um, your sister. So please.
Absolutely. It can be hard for a young person because, nowadays there's so many different, expectations and things. And when you told me what at least, the police had said is that, something about, like she feels like she's a failure or like, let me tell you what, we all, at some point in our lives misstep or, don't win or, what might be construed as failing. But, that's not, just that's not failing. We all have those situations in our life. And so it can feel that way as a young person. And it can feel like the walls are closing in because something either that you wanted so much or somebody else might have wanted, your family might have wanted so much. It's so important and crucial. But let me, like you just said, her family still loves her dearly. And a whole lot of other family and friends in the community, especially if she was a young cheerleader, that's, she was a part of something that people care
Exactly.
about her, and so one missteps happen, but that's not enough. That doesn't end your life. Like, you still gonna have, family to come home to that loves you, and everything. So it's easy to feel that way as a young person, but that's not that's just the part of life is, miss.
And Voice of the Youth Project would have never been created if it wasn't for me going through that myself. So that's why I understand these kids so much. You know, I understand. I've been there. Almost every post I make, I've been there
Hmm,
uh,
hmm.
at some point, whether it was mentally thinking about it, whatever it was. Um, and we stayed strong. So, same thing. When it didn't work out with the record labels, and I lost millions of potential dollars, and whatever on the table, and whatever else, and got sued for more money than I was given, and whatever else. Hey, man, I held my head high, bounced back, and I said I'm gonna do something that's going to inspire people and motivate them. But also, I'm gonna put my mistakes on the forefront. I'm gonna showcase my mistakes to inspire others and really make that sacrifice and be vulnerable. People that do want to hate and say what they want to say, they can't, they'll never be as vulnerable and show people uh, the real them.
Hmm. Yep. 100%. No, that's something that doesn't happen enough in society. This social this idea of social proof has everybody thinking you got to be a certain way, and you always either got to be upright, and like people are not making themselves vulnerable. It's like putting a mask on, and you walk and you're in society with this mask on where people don't see that vulnerable side of you and don't see that, you know what I mean, that you who you truly are. And we need more of that. We need more societal acceptance where it's like, like you don't have to have that mask on. You can make yourself vulnerable, even, as both of us as men, you know what I mean? Nowadays men are raised, well, don't cry, men don't cry, don't buck up and, and everything like that or whatever it is. But that prevents us from being actually vulnerable with our loved ones, with our family, with our friends. It prevents us from being vulnerable, makes us think that that's wrong, right? But that's not wrong, Vulnerability is the seed for growth.
Right, right. And like when I look at my teachers or when I went to school, I don't know much about none of them outside of that you have a degree for the subject you teach and you my teacher and whatever else. It's no like what you went through in your life though. So like some people don't share that. Some people it's not on the table to see it. For me, everybody can see it. I can't hide it. I'm a music artist. It's in the music, it's everywhere. So I can't hide it. But why not use that, you know, basically to inspire other people in a positive way rather than in a negative way. So I'm gonna say this too, like, people that are living in that negative mindset trying to do wrong, it's just like when you try to do right, just see how much your life changed after that.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
'Cause it's changed for me amazing. I'm at peace.
Mm-hmm. Which is something that a lot of people cannot say, you
Hmm.
know. And
Right.
I think that's a goal for everybody. That's one of the things that they say, whether, in this country we got, politics and people thinking different ways. But what's one of the things that everybody wants for them and their family is peace, just some peace.
That's facts. Fact. My brother.
Hey man, I appreciate. And so real quick too, though, I want to make sure you let them know because we're talking about Voice of the Youth Project. Let them know what's the Instagram handle.
Oh yeah, man. So it's just Voice of the Youth Project all together. Um Check us out on Instagram, Voice of the Youth Project.com. Um Tap in with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's solid. You got to have, that's something that I think, especially some, whether, maybe in smaller areas or whatever have you, people don't understand the importance of having like an internet presence. They'll just be like, well, you know what I mean? I'll just, run it from my own personal. No, you got to, like, if you're doing a project or a nonprofit or something like that, like, you got to have your own Instagram and you got to have your own website if you can. That way,
Exactly.
where to get to. And sometimes, this social media, platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever have you, X or whatever it is, they'll pull you down. Especially if you're doing some real work like you're doing, they'll be like, oh, it all just depends. It's a lot of underworkings with, social media and potentially just some, people that don't want the work that you're doing to get out there. So they'll be quick to try to pull you down and stuff like that. But you got to have that .com. That's crucial. So I'm glad that you got that. So that way people have a hub no matter what to go, okay, what's going on? And and I was on the Instagram for Voice of the Youth Project and I saw the post about Katie that you're talking about. You know what I mean? I saw him on there, So that's crucial. People are gonna see that, thousands and thousands of people are gonna see that. So shout out to you for
Blessing.
doing it the right way.
It's a blessing, and you know, I didn't even really mean for all this to happen. It just, how they say, like the game chose you, and that's what happened. And I just feel this is in my heart to do, and um, I'm a man of God, and I believe in everyone, no matter what background, where you come from, what race, nationality, gender. It don't matter to me. A human is a human, and I'm a humanitarian. So I'll leave it at that. And thank you to everyone that's been supporting all of these families. And we'll just keep doing what we have to do. Voice of the Youth Project. launching the pod. We're gonna try to relaunch the podcast real soon. I'm sorry. I know I've been playing y'all, but it's a lot going on. But I'm gonna get on that real soon. My bro said something to me about it, so I'm like, yeah, I'm motivated to get that back going. So that's in the works, along with a lot of other stuff that's happening with the youth. Just know, um, if the story hits the news, if I see it, whatever the case is, I'm gonna amplify it.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. No, and I think too, the podcast is a good way nowadays to be able to disseminate information quickly because it's moved away from, me and you growing up, when we were growing up in the 90s and the, early 2000s and all that, it's like the TV was there. It was the TV. And so that was the way information was really disseminated to people was over the television. But on the TV, you just have to, you got to watch what they put on the TV, right?
Mm,
And issues like these, you know what I mean? I feel like these would never really hit, television, especially either not quick enough or depending on what, like city you're in or anything like that. It might be a big city where the news programs determine that this isn't big enough news. You know what
right.
I mean? Of course, there's
Yep.
other things that they want to report on or whatever it is. But see, and nowadays it's changed because now people are so busy, people are on the move that you can't just, you know what I mean? Like people really like to ingest information on demand, as in, well, I'm going to listen to a podcast while I'm in the car driving because that's going to be easy for me to check out some news in the local area and listen to the podcast. Because it's all about you doing things on your time. You know what I mean? I might have a job or be busy when this news program is on. And so I'm not ever catching that. But if it's on a podcast form, they can just download it, whenever it's convenient for them, as soon as it's convenient for them, and hear it pretty quick compared to having to wait for like a news broadcast or anything like that. So the podcast, I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna keep my eye out for that one.
For sure. Please do, man. I just want to keep things going, man, and like I said, man, keep these kids' voices being heard, and keep amplifying, and helping out the community, and bettering the people and bettering these kids, man. That's what it's about, building community. So, I appreciate you for bringing me on, and like I said, man, shout out to the whole Fremont, California community. Um, and all the surrounding communities that's helping out, whole Bay Area. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to the families that have been affected by all this. Mr. Home, Mrs. Home. Like I said, we hope Katie returns home soon. Rest in peace to Marissa, and rest in peace to Rihanna as well. And also rest in peace to Pranal from Dublin High School, a student who when I was at the school, he actually was there with me. So he wasn't like a student that, uh, we would talk all the time every day. I was in a lot of talks with people around him, but every time we did have an interaction, it was great and
Mm.
very respectful. I could tell he had a lot of respect.
Yeah. It's sad to, hear young children, just children or I mean anybody, leave this earth, hope I mean I'm knowing that those children are all in heaven, and looking down on the work that you're doing, thankful that somebody like you is doing that for the community. We need more people like you, Amari J.
I appreciate that, man, and salute, man. Same to you, my brother. You already know, man. So I appreciate you doing this for me. I really do.
Oh, absolutely. No, you let me know anytime anything like this, like you need this platform for this type of thing, you know what I mean? You just holler at me and let me know. I mean, it sounds like you've been real busy with this. Have you been able to get any, music in and everything like that since we last spoke? I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah, I'm always creating, always creating. It's just that I don't put it out. But I'm always creating. New album will be on the way. New videos will always be dropping. Um, so yeah, it's all coming together real soon. Real soon.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm sure that all the work that you're doing just adds to that creative fuel and an inspiration to be able to, make, music and art that continues to inspire the children, to learn new ways, learn better ways, learn right ways, learn the path, towards, helping community. Because I really appreciate, like you said earlier, whether because a lot of the times nowadays, people are split on different lines, especially in this country. They're split on lines of like this or that, or this community, that community. But in reality, we're all one community, and the work that you're doing shows that. And that's what I think that when the kids nowadays, especially this younger generation, when they see that, they're not as dogmatic as, like, let's say our parents and that generation was. They really don't see it like that. They're like, they see right and wrong. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, so we just see people. It's not about all these different lines that separate us. And so that's one of the crucial things that when they see you doing this work, I know it's inspiring a ton of youth in the Bay Area to do the same and to follow in your footsteps, because we need more like you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. And that's, something that I definitely always hope. And I know that it is some students out here that are making their own movements and told me that they were inspired, and it's great, and behind them fully, and I support it all, and that's really the point. That's the whole point.
Absolutely. No, thank you, Amari J. I appreciate you, brother. Like I said, anytime you're ready to do another one, you just holler at me and we're gonna do it.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, my brother. You already know what time it is, man. Shout out to the Hip Hop Humboldt podcast.
Hey, thank you, Amari J. And so one more time, make sure y'all follow at Voice of the Youth Project.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Voice of the Youth Project on
Yep.
everything. Yes, sir.
And then stay tuned for more episodes from the Hip Hop Humble podcast. And until next time, y'all.